Welcome to the Business Chop, where challenges, success, rewards, and solutions to entrepreneurship collide. Let's chop it up. Hello, Chop Squad. Audrey Wiggins here, your host, and excited to be with you again. And our guest today is Liana Zavo, and she is a highly accomplished PR executive, global speaker, female advocate. She's a Forbes thought leader and founder and CEO of Zavo Media PR Group. With over a decade of experience in the field of public relations, Liana has established herself as a prominent publicist in corporate industry. She helps NPOs, startups, small to medium-sized businesses to gain recognition, visibility, credibility, and profitability in their respected industries. We're going to chop it up with Liana on the other side of this message. Knock out your competition with Altogether Marketing. We elevate your brand. Take a stance with your business name, logo, the tagline, your colors, even the fonts for your business. And then jab left with your website, jab right with core values. Back up with product experience and bring it on with you. Visit altogether.biz and let us help you create a knockout brand. Welcome back. And Liana, welcome to the Business Chop.
Thank you so much for having me, Audrey. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, you said my favorite word. Yes, and thank you. So before we get into some questions, fill in your background a little bit more for us. I gave like the bird's eye view, the top level there. So fill us in a little bit, and then we'll get into some questions.
Yeah, so I'm a publicist, a personal branding expert. I've been in the industry for 20 years, helping brand women. It all started with women because I wanted to find my voice. And so I thought that what is the best way to help others is to help them be seen and be heard, help them bring their brand into existence and not just have their message on a superficial level, but really connect with the audience on a very authentic level. And that's what I bring forth. I think it's so important to connect with your audience on that level. And it's Women's History Month. I'm super excited. You know, it's such an incredible way of engaging with women now, even more so. I'm having an event this week on March 12th, and recognizing women is what I've loved to do all my life, giving them a voice, giving them a platform for them to express themselves. And so, you know, I was recognized by a woman myself. So I was discovered by her. Her name is Mirella Matan. And, you know, I had a lot of hurdles I had to go through, but it took that one woman to actually discover me and to say, you know what, I see something in you and I want you to become my media visionary.
Wow.
And so I started representing her skincare line when I really had no idea how to really, you know, bring a product to fruition, right? I worked as a personal stylist for a lot of, you know, years of my life. I owned a styling concierge firm for about 10 years. And what I decided to do is style women and give them a voice through storytelling, through what they wore, right? Wear what amazing outfit, that's your story right there and then. So it was such an amazing way to connect with these women. And I was just fortunate enough to find her.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, we need someone, you know, because sometimes we need to, because we don't always see what's really in us, you know, we accept it, you know, quote unquote, but we don't really know the power, you know, the depth of really what we have. But that's your gift, obviously. And so sometimes it does take someone from the outside to say, hey, you have got what it takes. And so that's exciting that she believed in you and really mentored you to pull you out. And then it's, you know, your turn. I'm sure you've done it for others, you know, as well, because that's how we are. And then your event that you mentioned, I'm sure that's just another rung in the ladder to help, you know, to bring others out and up. All right, Liana, thank you for filling us in a little bit more on your background. So I think you kind of alluded this a little bit, you know, but what really sparked your initial interest in PR and personal branding?
To tell my story. When I started telling my story, I said, you know what, if I can't tell my story, then I can help others. So for me, it was about just be transparent. I'm a college dropout. I'm a single mom. I have a lot that I that I've gone through, myself, all these obstacles and hurdles that I had to overcome. And so I said, if I can't speak up about my own story, then who will believe me, right? People connect with other people on an emotional connection, right? They have to have this emotional connection built with you. It's a bonding, right? They won't trust you unless they build this emotional side with you. And so for me, that was important. I had to find a way to create this emotional connection with my audience so that they can trust me and to start working with me. Because at the end of the day, if you're selling your products or services, if there's no emotional connection with your audience, if they don't know who you are, the value you bring, and really your story, then who are you connecting with? They need to see that raw side of you. And I was ready to give it to them. So I had a lot of, people tell me, well, you're a college dropout. Are you really credible in what you do? Well, I started writing for Forbes in 2020. So yes, I'm very credible. I have what it takes. I'm an amazing writer. I contribute on many topics. And so what I love to contribute on is women's topics, right? If you're excelled woman who's disrupting industries, that's what really excites me. And so that's how you start, right? You start small, but you have a vision and you go big. So tell your story.
All right. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced early in your career? You talked about, people looking at you being, are you credible? Because, life lessons you are worth, you can slap a PhD on that real quick, just, on your life experiences, right? Okay, that you faced early in your career, and how did you really overcome them? So if you're looking at somebody else, if you were to mentor me and to come out of that, make that pivot.
The pivot is, and one of my superpowers is to pivot, right? If you see something that's not working out for you, find another direction. And so it all started out for me at my family's restaurant, Zavo, on the Upper East Side, Manhattan, in New York City. So if you guys are in New York City, and if you still walk by 60th and 3rd, the name still stands. I mean, we did shut down, the restaurant shut down due to COVID, and we had to really, it was a devastating time and very catastrophic to lose the business. But that's where my brand started. Zavo is the household name. And so first of all, I had zero idea how to run social media back in 2018, 2019. I mean, I would post and I would, the usual thing, I would do the
Right.
things, but I really didn't double down on social media as much as I should have. It was all in-house. It was all, guests coming to my show. So I had a show back then. It was called What Makes a Woman. They used to come to my restaurant where I would record the show out of the restaurant. So everything was at the restaurant. And then, yes, we would take that and then distribute that to Spotify. But I didn't really connect with so many influential people. So when COVID started, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Everyone is sitting home. The world shut down. So I had to pivot. I had to learn real quick how to get on. I hired mentors along the way. You need to hire people and be in proximity with other people who know more than you, right? And so I had to double down on that. And what I've done with this whole, the time that we were all sitting and suffering, I said, I'm going to use this as leverage. I'm going to use this to my advantage, because if you're sitting home, I can knock on your social media door. So I started knocking on doors, and you won't believe it, Audrey, I got some top names to be on my podcast show.
Okay.
And I had very few followers. But what really gave me the credibility is when I started writing in 2020 for Forbes. And that in itself, I was elected to be on the Forbes Business Council. So for me, that in itself was my major credibility. And I was a thought leader in my space. So if something is not working out for you, pivot fast, find someone in your circle and proximity who can relate to what you're going through, and ask for help. It's important to ask for help. Find ways to delegate, ask for help. There's nothing wrong in asking.
Yes, absolutely. Two things. You said pivot fast. Sometimes we get that analysis paralysis and questioning ourselves. I've got to make a decision. The week goes by, look up, months go by, and sometimes even years go by, and we still haven't made that decision. And asking for help. Oh my goodness, and that helps us to get going faster too, because we know what we want to do or may not know what we want to do, but we kind of know the direction. But then sometimes just asking for the help, then it helps to catapult us forward. And then if you can afford to, or someone's gonna volunteer, do pro bono to so you can delegate to. That was fantastic. Thanks for that. Yeah. So you've and that kind of goes right to this next question about, you have mentored over 2,500 professionals and over the years. So what are some of the most common branding mistakes that you see us make?
They're afraid to tell their story. They're
Mm.
afraid that people will find out. I don't want them to know I went through that challenge. I'm going to be judged. I have a fear of that, the whole judgment. I'm like, look, don't be afraid,
Yes.
because there is something so special in telling your story authentically. You will attract a certain tribe to you. You will find a community that actually will resonate with you. If you're not speaking your truth, if you're not really engaging, then what does your personal brand stand for? Right? The two things, right? So a personal brand stands on three pillars. You need to have a personality, you need to have skills, and you have experiences, right? So someone can have the same experience as you, someone can have the same skill set as you, but does anyone have your personality? No. If
No.
your personality doesn't shine through, and you don't have what it takes to attract the audience with your charisma, with who you are, with your story, then really what makes you different, right? Because that personality is it's that fingerprint. It's so unique. No one carries who you are, right? You are a messenger, and every messenger delivers the message differently. So start speaking the truth, fall into that, because right now, if you don't have a personal brand, you don't exist. If I don't know who you are, if you're not transparent, then I can't relate to you. I can't bring value to you as well, right?
That's right. Get your brim on. Since 1972, American Hat Makers has been dedicated to the art of fine hat making. Their diverse selection caters to outdoor adventurers, style-conscious individuals, and hat enthusiasts just like me. With a focus on meticulous detail and quality materials, I love wearing their hats. Embrace your own spirit of adventure and individuality. Visit bit.ly/hats now, bit.ly/hats now, or use our affiliate link in the show notes to view their vast selection of men's and women's styles. How do you advise clients who are hesitant to get out there and put themselves out? The story is one thing, but just to talk about themselves or their product or service, like, well, I don't know how to promote myself. I've known people that will promote you, me, the next door neighbor, whoever across town, and do excellent, but they were afraid to get out to really, and they had an audience.
Well, first of all, I think you should just hire the right team. You need a right team to do it. You can't do it on your own. If you're really serious about your business, if you're really serious about breaking it into the speaking world, if you want to get more engagement, if you really want to get serious and double down, and you have an idea of how much your business needs to reach at the end of the year or the quarter, then you need to delegate. You need to invest in the right people. As a publicist, you need a publicist, you need a PR firm that not does only public relations for you. Like my firm, we do personal branding as well. So you need to hone in on your skills and have a professional look at how they can position you. It's all about positioning at the end of the day. How can I position you, Audrey, for example, as a thought leader in your space? So my strength is in having these professionals that I work with and converting them. I say I convert them into thought leaders and experts, right? You need to, because if you're not a thought leader in your space, if you're not a subject matter expert, who is going to listen to you, right? So I urge you to start video content. Say that you don't have what it takes, the funds, or maybe it's not the right time to invest. Video content is king, right? So 89% of founders are aligned with videos. Can you imagine? That's a crazy statistic. So which means that if you don't have short videos, if you
Yeah.
don't have something on YouTube or podcast, then you're not first of all, you don't exist. Second of all, it's like you don't resonate. So start doing video. Get on Instagram or LinkedIn. Just introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so and so. This is who I help. This is my story, just a little bit. 1 minute. I'm sure you can get something down in 1 minute to a minute and a half.
Absolutely.
And use
Yes.
ChatGPT if you can't. Hey, ChatGPT,
Right.
can
Tell
you
me what to say.
can you craft a little story around my strengths, my experiences, my personality, and then you fill it in? Okay, my personality, I'm bubbly, I'm friendly. Okay, my experiences, I traveled the world, I'm a mother. My challenges, I'm a college dropout, I'm a single mom, and I don't have as much, for example, I'm just saying,
Right,
those
right.
things you can put into Chat GPT, and then it will just give you an overarching idea what to speak about.
Mhm. Yeah, and I want to add to that. Don't be afraid to use technology, people. AI is our friend, but just remember garbage in, garbage out, and that was great advice right there. The prompts that you told us because you're right. That just helps. And once you get started doing that, we'll do it more. And really understanding that. So yeah, definitely, I appreciate that. Talk about our personal branding and building our careers. Let's look at a different generation with that. So as the millennial yourself, pioneering the personal branding industry, what unique perspectives do you bring to the table?
Oh, a lot. Where do I start?
Okay, let me check my watch here.
Well, Audrey, I have to say that, first of all, it's my energy I bring.
Yes, yes.
The energy needs to be contagious, because if
Mhm.
you love this upbeat, energetic person you're working with, that's what really sets me apart, right? Because I sound like someone else. Listen, this is nothing new that I'm talking about. The other thing is I always work on myself. I'm always learning new trends, pivots, right? How can I make this better? For example, 2 years ago, I started doing events. I said to myself, okay, what can I do in order to bring people together? How can I create a community? Let's throw events. So every 3 months, I have events now. And that in itself creates momentum. That in itself says, oh, she is a name. But that is me working on myself. I need to improve myself. I can't say that, you know what, I'm making enough money, I'm comfortable. No matter how
Right.
much money I'll be making, I will never be comfortable. I don't want to be comfortable. I mean, I take my father into perspective. He is a restaurateur. He is building something every year, right? He has an idea born every year and doesn't just have an idea, he executes on that idea. And then when I look at him, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even catch up. Like, I need to start catching up to my dad. And he tells me the secret to success and the secret to everything is to move forward, keep moving forward. You can't be, and just like try doing new things, no matter how hard it is. Because when your mind is involved with new things, and how do I get my name out there? And how do I interact with others? How do I bring people together? That's just going to create momentum. You need that. Consistency is key, right? So a personal
Yes.
brand stands on consistency. It stands on bringing value. What values do you have? The authenticity, right? So it's a value proposition aspect as well, and your authenticity and consistency, right? So if you're not consistent, then you really don't have an authentic story to tell.
Yes, absolutely. So looking a little bit to the future, for today going forward, how has the PR landscape changed since you started in the industry, especially in the rise of social media, digital platforms that you've talked about?
Well, I remember doing my show, the What Makes a Woman show in 2019. I started it at the end of actually 2018. But the way you do podcasts now, and I got back into podcasting, the way podcasting works now is just, first of all, everything has changed. The landscape, it became just so much easier, right? There weren't as many softwares that are now.
Oh,
So I just feel that it just got, with technology, it's just so much easier. Some might think that there's so much technology out there. I don't know if I can grasp everything. We'll just take it, small little steps. For me, it's a lot too. I need to always be on trend. And so what I've seen, from, for example, 2018 to now, first of all, AI is dominating. I can only imagine what's going to happen in a few years with AI. So find ways to learn the new landscape. And AI was something I needed to double down myself. I needed to learn new ways. And it's such a beautiful journey to really to tell you. So one thing that I can tell you about social media is that if you all the social medias are connected, you need to repurpose your material. So if I'm speaking to you right now, I'm going to put this on my social media, which is recording right now on Instagram. I'm going to put this on LinkedIn. I'm going to shout you out. There has to be a collaboration. Social media needs to be a collaborative unit. You can't just be on your own. Start knocking on doors, social media doors, hey, I want to interview you, or hey, can you strategically partner up, or I have a book, can you endorse me? Like, I did this, and someone endorsed my book when I just knocked on his door, and he wasn't just some, small little guy, but he represents Sylvester Stallone. Like, he has a name to himself, but I invited him to my podcast because you know what? Listen, if you're not going to be ballsy to do this, then someone else will. So why not
Right.
me? Why not me?
Oh, you have me jumping out of my seat over here. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. So how can we connect with Zavo Media PR Group and yourself, Liana?
Yeah, please reach out to me, perhaps email hello@zavomediapr.com. You can also check us out on LinkedIn. Send me a DM there. LinkedIn is somewhere I'm very active. Social media platforms such as my Instagram, Zavo Media PR as well, @Zavo Media PR. I think that's the best way to go about it. I mean, you can also, I'm private. My personal page is private on social media, but you can also send me a message there. Send messages. I'm sure I'm going to answer you and I will get back to you. And you can also, in the links, you can find a way to have a consultation with me. So if you want a 15-minute consultation, I'm happy to give that to you. I'm happy to go over your online presence and give you an audit on your social media and see how I can position you and create a very strong online reputation.
Awesome. So like you mentioned, we'll have those links in the show notes so folks will be able to find you. So thanks about that. And finally, Anna, what nugget of advice do you want to drop on us today?
Well, it's Women's History Month. I say that women should stick together no matter how crazy can get out there. Sometimes you would think, oh, she's doing better than me, or, no matter what it is, find ways to connect with more women. My dream was always to be surrounded with more women because I just grew up with very strong men. I'm grateful because I have this maybe strong personality and I have this savviness from them in business, but I always wanted to have more women in my circle. And that was my goal. Surround yourself with strong women and lift each other up.
Awesome. Well, that's it, Chop Squad. You have got your marching orders. And men, if you heard that, encourage us too and push us up as well. So thanks again, Liana. So I look forward to learning even more about you and following your social media trail there and seeing how we can stay connected. With that, we're going to call it quits and we'll chop it up next week.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guests and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.